Today we're going to be talking about gold and Bitcoin, and I have a friend here to help me with it. This is Cathie Wood, and you're going to see why she has that expression on her face in just a second. So the point of this video today is going to be talking about gold and Bitcoin. Gold's been in the news quite a bit lately between the London exchange and not having all the gold they claim to Fort Knox and going in there checking out to see if the US has the gold. Plus just a new asset called Bitcoin that's emerging and really being compared to gold. I think that's how most people see it right now is digital gold. Even though if you've been in Bitcoin, if you spent any time learning about Bitcoin, it is much, much more than that. But I think it's a pretty good place for people because it helps kind of, compare things to something that we already know. Bitcoin's going to do a lot of things that we have no idea could happen. But this is kind of like the number one reason why people should be looking into gold or to Bitcoin versus gold right now. So I'm gonna show this video and then we'll talk about it and then we'll get to a few other things after. So what do you think about Bitcoin, Cathie? Bitcoin or gold?
Bitcoin, hands down. Hands down. Bitcoin is a hedge against both inflation and deflation. Yes, so is gold, but Bitcoin is digital. And if you look at the incremental demand, we're going to see, but gold already has its demand, it's happened, right? Bitcoin is new and institutions are barely involved. And young people would much prefer to hold Bitcoin than to hold gold. So, it's interesting that both gold and Bitcoin are hedges against deflation, but Bitcoin's been doing better recently. Bitcoin, hands down, hands down. Bitcoin.
She's excited. You can tell she's excited about it. That is Cathie Wood. That is the CEO of a company called ARK Investments, I believe, anyways. So she's been around, she's seen everything in the markets, and she's most excited about Bitcoin right now. And so she brought up a couple of really good points there about gold versus Bitcoin. The number one reason is gold's had its day. Gold has had its day in terms of whoever wanted to buy gold probably owns it right now. And if you just think about it this way, there's probably not a whole lot of Bitcoiners who are going to be trading their Bitcoin for gold, but there's going to be a lot of gold people who are trading their gold for Bitcoin, whether they are or it's a member of their family. And she mentioned that. She said that the millennials, Gen Xers, they want Bitcoin. They don't want gold. And even beyond that, the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, whatever the hell gens are coming out nowadays, but they're not going to want gold. And so the baby boomers, I think a lot of this is in the hands of the baby boomers, how fast this thing moves, how fast this thing is adopted. Because if you think about it, even if the baby boomers are unwilling to, and shout out to all the baby boomers out there who have been learning about Bitcoin, embracing Bitcoin and obtaining some Bitcoin, but the majority of baby boomers still have not even thought about this, or they've heard things, they've looked into it a little bit, but they have no idea where to start. So even if they're kind of resistant to this, once they pass that wealth down to the Gen X millennials, that's going to flow into Bitcoin. So either way, it's going to happen. It's just when. So that's the other part. But then the last one, she said that we're moving into a high-tech world now. And the capabilities of Bitcoin, a programmable, decentralized, transparent monetary system that's completely disrupting society right now and going to be more so in the future. But we're moving into a high-tech world where we're going to have AI and we're going to have AI agents and we're going to have all these different applications that you can send value around the internet peer-to-peer, and a worldwide economy that's now been unlocked by the internet, AI, and Bitcoin. So we're not moving backwards here. This thing only moves one way, and it is moving towards Bitcoin. So the video I'm about to show you here is a direct comparison between Bitcoin and gold, looking at a chart, looking at all the characteristics, and which one outperforms the other or has both. And so this presentation here is part of a course I've been doing called 365 Days of Bitcoin. So if you are somebody who's just new into Bitcoin, or you just want to be more well-rounded in the area, because I think for a lot of people, the problem is what they don't know. I think that that's their biggest problem is not knowing what they don't know. And so currently we've got 50 videos on here. I've done one every single day since January 1st, 2025. They're about 10, 15 minutes long max. And it's just going to make you a much better Bitcoiner. It's going to give you more conviction. It's going to give you tips, best practices for securing your Bitcoin, and things to look out for. How to earn more Bitcoin as well. It's a really good course, and it's $21 per month. So you could sign up today. You get access to 50 videos starting from zero in Bitcoin to today, and it's going to continue on for the rest of the year. So this is from that. It's about 15 minutes long, I believe. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And keep in mind here, the one thing that gold has on Bitcoin right now, time. Every chart you look at. But anyways, we'll break it down, and I'm going to send it over there right now. Okay, here it is. So we're going to be talking about, again, gold versus Bitcoin. This has been one of the most common debates within Bitcoin because I think it's the most relevant one. I think that in the short term, that's the first thing that Bitcoin is really going to outpace and outperform and really capture the majority of gold owners right now. And you have to remember that the majority of gold is actually held by countries, which is a very interesting part of this dynamic here. So you got one asset over here, the gold. The majority is owned by governments. It's been around for a very long time. I would say the majority of people who own gold are like baby boomers. So that's kind of this asset right here that's historically been the most scarce asset on Earth. It has about a 2% inflation rate. So the new supply of gold increases on average about 2% every year. So that's what you got over here. On this side of the table, though, you have the majority of it is actually owned by individuals, not countries. 75%, 5% is lost, but 70% of Bitcoin is owned by individuals. Plus, you have the majority of individuals who own Bitcoin are probably about the age 30 to 50. That's kind of the main demographic of Bitcoiners. And as of May 2024, Bitcoin is actually the most scarce asset on Earth now per year. The inflation rate of Bitcoin is now less than 1% per year. And as we know, because of the halving every 4 years, that supply is just going to keep going down and down and down. So we officially crossed the chasm in 2024, where Bitcoin is officially more scarce than gold, but it's just going to go down and down and down. So keep in mind here, as we go through this video here, keep in mind that the market cap of Bitcoin is about 10x what Bitcoin is. I think the market cap of Bitcoin, well, I know it is about $2 trillion, but I'm pretty sure the market cap of gold is about 20 trillion, maybe 18 to 20 trillion. So it's about 10x right now of what Bitcoin's is. Not going to be for long, but it is today. So as I'm talking about these different things, keep in mind here that that's kind of the next step for Bitcoin. When we catch gold, the price of Bitcoin at current gold rates, the price of Bitcoin would be about $1 million per coin just to catch gold. And in my opinion, once we go through a few examples here, show the charts and the example that I talk about right after this chart, I think that Bitcoin is probably about 100 to 1,000 times more valuable than gold. And today we're about 10 times less valuable than gold. So that just goes to show kind of where this thing's going to, which is going to make you pretty happy. So let's bring this chart up. I love these charts. Every chart comparison to gold just cracks me up because it clearly shows that Bitcoin is much better in every aspect, except it's always missing one simple thing, which is, in this case, the only thing that we're missing here, and that is a track record. Time. Bitcoin is only 16 years old. So let's actually start at the bottom here with the track record. Gold, again, has been around for 1,000 years. Bitcoin's been around for 16. So I'm going to miss fiat here because fiat is just a complete scam and joke. But the track record here is the only thing that Bitcoin is missing that gold has in terms of characteristics. Just time, just a track record, which should also make you pretty happy. But the next one here is scarcity. So again, both of these assets are very scarce. gold historically was the most scarce asset on earth. It was the hardest asset to obtain. They're both scarce. So I would say that in terms of Bitcoin, it actually has the upper hand here now because we've officially passed gold for the inflation rate every year. We're lower than gold already, and we're going to continue to get lower. The next one is verifiable. So this one is very important. A very important aspect of this is the verifiability. So think about counterfeiting. Think about how much gold is out there that is probably not real gold. You go onto a website right now, regardless of which website you use, you still have to put an amount of trust into these dealers who are sending out gold bars and gold coins. You have to trust the fact that whatever they're selling you is actual real gold. And for some people, they might be able to tell the difference. For me, I would have no idea. I used to buy silver a lot online, on like eBay, on bullion, I don't know what it was. Gold, silver, bull, who knows? I didn't know what I was looking for. I just trusted the fact that whatever I said I was buying, they sent me. They could have sent me completely fake silver. And the exact same thing could happen with gold. I'm pretty sure a large percent of the gold, physical gold, is probably either completely fake or somewhat fake. So there's no way to verify it unless you have the tools for it. And the average person doesn't have the tools for it. With Bitcoin, though, you cannot counterfeit it. Try sending Bitcoin to a fake address, or try adding some Bitcoin to your balance and see how that goes. You can't counterfeit Bitcoin. Next one here is portability. So imagine you're a country, imagine you're the US and you want to buy some oil, or you want to buy some potash or something. And you want to send some payment over. Imagine you want to send gold. And it's funny when people talk about the energy consumption of Bitcoin, but imagine sending several tons or several hundred tons of gold on a ship to a different country. Think about how long it would take. Think about how much energy it would take. Think about everything involved with that process. The more you send, the more it's going to cost. And that's not the case with Bitcoin. It's very portable. You could send 1,000 Bitcoin, $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, something like that. No, it wouldn't be 1 billion. Maybe, I don't know. 1,000 Bitcoin. You could send it. You could store it, but you could send it to anybody for like $1. If you have it in one UTXO, you could send it. It could be 1,000 Bitcoin. It could be 10,000 Bitcoin. The amount doesn't matter. But you can send it to anybody on earth for about $1, or you can store it without having to pay a whole bunch of storage costs for it. So that's the portability of it. It's very portable. You can hop on an airplane, you can memorize 12 words, you can land in another country, and you can restore your Bitcoin when you get there. It is extremely portable, especially compared to gold. So that's another thing that cash has, or fiat currency, I guess. It's not as portable though, because if you try taking $20,000 worth of cash on an airplane, good luck. Or across a border. Fungible. This one's kind of hard to understand in terms of the fungibility aspect of it. I would say that gold is, I don't know. I don't want to get too far into this because it's kind of confusing when you're comparing gold, Bitcoin, and fiat in terms of fungibility. It basically means, like, when NFTs were big, they were talking about non-fungible versus fungible. And they have certain characteristics that you can identify, some don't. It's kind of a silly argument, to be completely honest with you. But anyways, Bitcoin is fungible. So is gold. So we're not going to waste any more time talking about that. Divisible, though, this is a very, very big one. Divisibility. Because this is a perfect case. We can never live in a society where you had to trade gold coins. Because what if your coffee that costs $2 and your gold coin costs $10? What do? Do you cut it 1/5 of it off? Do you shave some off? Do they have like a measuring thing at the till that you could weigh your gold on? No. It's just absolutely not feasible. And that's even in a local economy. So that goes to show the divisibility aspect of Bitcoin, and it is basically forever divisible. There's the sats that we know as today. That's kind of the unit measurement that we have is Bitcoin and sats, but who knows what it's going to be in the future as more and more people adopt Bitcoin, as we continue to price more things in Bitcoin, as the value of Bitcoin goes up, we can keep dividing it into endless amounts. And it's funny because there's a lot of very intelligent people out there who think that that's actually a problem within Bitcoin, that you can divide it forever. But if you've heard the pizza analogy before, where you have the same piece of pizza, but you can just cut it into very small pieces without making the pizza bigger, that's essentially what Bitcoin is. You just keep making smaller pieces of pizza with it. You can't do that with gold. Gold is not divisible at all. The funny thing is, like, a gold coin now costs $3,000 or something. So imagine trying to pay for a $2 coffee with a $3,000 coin, which is kind of like the smallest measurement that we have in gold is an ounce for the most part. So it's just not feasible, not divisible. And then finally here, durable. So this says, while all are physically durable, fiat currency over history has not maintained its purchasing power durability. Okay, so durability means like it holds its purchasing power. Both gold and Bitcoin have been very good at that through the years. But if you compare gold to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's 10 times, 100 times better in the last 10 years in terms of its durability, in terms of its holding its purchasing power. So look at any asset. I challenge you to do this. Look at any asset measured in gold for the last 100 years. It really hasn't gone up that much. Gold has been a very stable and durable way to measure other assets. Gold has done a very good job of that. But now look at a Bitcoin versus gold chart and tell me what you see. How durable is gold compared to Bitcoin? And it ties into all these characteristics. Bitcoin itself is just a much preferred asset, a much superior to asset than gold in pretty much every aspect except track record, time. So let's talk about time quickly. This is the last point that I wanted to make about gold. This was something that really hit home with me in terms of gold and Bitcoin. So a couple different things, but I'm going to leave a link here in the show notes of this video for you to go watch after if you have some time. It's actually a presentation from Jack Mallers talking about Bitcoin and gold and the time chain of Bitcoin. So I encourage you to watch it. I probably watched this video 5 or 6 times or more, but this is one of those things that I encourage you to do and kind of challenge yourself, even if you don't feel like you're going to understand everything. Again, I watched this 5 or 6 times. There was something new I picked up every time. So don't expect like you're going to watch this and have a full understanding of it, but challenge yourself. Watch this video, listen to what Jack says. I'm going to give a brief summary of it to you, but I challenge you to go and watch it for yourself. So basically what Jack says is he said that the phrase that he used was that Bitcoin is stuck in the ground and Bitcoin is stuck in time. So gold is stuck in the ground. I hope I said that right. Gold is stuck in the ground while Bitcoin is stuck in time. And if you think about that, what does that mean? That means, well, gold is in the ground. It's buried out there. There's a whole bunch of gold everywhere on this planet, plus beyond that, if you subscribe to that theory. But it's everywhere. It's stuck in the ground, though. So let's say the price of gold went from 3,000 to 300,000. And all of a sudden, everybody's trying desperately to get their hands on as much gold as possible. What would happen? They'd go find the gold. They'd start digging it up. It's stuck in the ground right now, but they can still get it out of the ground if there's enough demand for it. Eventually, the supply will keep up to the demand of gold. That's how it works. It's stuck in the ground, but it's accessible. With Bitcoin, it's stuck in time, which means that if the price of Bitcoin went from $100,000 to $100 million tomorrow, you cannot do anything. It's stuck in time. You can't fast forward here. And once you understand the difficulty adjustment, once you understand the Bitcoin network, the block rewards, all of that kind of tied together, it makes so much sense that Bitcoin is stuck in time. Because again, you could put all the resources you wanted to into Bitcoin, all of it. You could move all your data centers, your AI, computational power. You can move all of it, everything you had into Bitcoin. And it wouldn't matter because it's stuck in time. Irregardless of how much you want it, you cannot. The only thing that you can do is wait and hope and put as much energy as you can into the network and hope that you can get some Bitcoin with time. So just really think about that. if somebody really wanted to get as much Bitcoin as possible, they've kind of been storing up all their resources, and one day they're going to flip the switches, turn on all these Bitcoin mines, and try to get this Bitcoin, good luck. Because as we know, the difficulty adjustment resets after, I think it's 2000 blocks, 2016 blocks, something like that. So you can get, you can make some hay during those first 2000 blocks. You can win a portion of them, maybe, if your computational power is guessing the correct equations. But that's about it, because after that, it's going to be adjusted. And because you put so much computational power into the network, the difficulty adjustment is going to get higher. So everything you just spent pouring into this thing hasn't got you any further ahead. It might have got you some blocks in like the first 2000 blocks, maybe. But outside of that, you just cranked up the difficulty adjustment. So all the power that you put into it is now basically moot. Doesn't mean anything, because the difficulty adjustment cranked up where it doesn't matter how much you have now. It's going to be very harder for other people to get it, but it's still the exact same as before you started mining Bitcoin. So it's stuck in time. Irregardless of how much demand there is for Bitcoin, we cannot make more of it. The only thing that we can do is wait. Time. Put as much energy, as much resources into this, and just wait. It's stuck in time. That's crazy. It's such a crazy concept, but it makes sense when you kind of understand the whole process here. So it's brilliant. I hope you enjoyed this. You might have to watch this one again, because there's a lot of things I think that are important to understand about the properties of Bitcoin. And when you compare it to gold, gold is the closest thing we have to Bitcoin today. I think the real estate will flow into Bitcoin. I think that the huge amount of capital and bonds will flow into Bitcoin eventually, but we're going to start with gold. That's going to be the first kind of measuring stick that we have. So again, I believe that Bitcoin is 100 to 1,000x more valuable today than gold is, and we're 10 times less valuable in terms of market cap. So we got a ways to go, and it's very, very, very exciting. So hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll catch you on the next one.